Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to So Connected, a podcast where we talk about all the things that leave you feeling more connected to yourself and to the world around you. My name is Sofia Cavito, and today I'm guessing you want to know yourself better. You want to improve yourself because if you want to know yourself, it means that you want to understand yourself better. And I think you need to first pat yourself on the back for taking this step. Most of us live our lives based off of what the world tells us that we are rather than finding out who we are. So kudos to you for taking the first step. So today I'm just going to give you a few questions that can help you get to that. And let's get into it. Let's not waste too much time. So I've broken this down into 4 parts, 4 systems, like I've done in my previous videos: your mental self, your emotional self, your physical, and the spiritual. And let's get into the mental. If you're trying to understand your mind, you're going to, first of all, mental is basically how you process. No, that's emotional. Mental is basically how you think, what you think about the world, your current belief systems, what you believe about yourself. And remember, what we believe affects how we perceive the world. So everything as you see it is from here, your mindset. That's all the mental. So if you're trying to understand your mental, I believe that acts like journaling are going to be really good for you, because when you're journaling, you're just basically putting your thoughts on paper. It's important to have a safe space to journal and to make sure that no one is going to read your journal. Because if you suspect that someone might read your journal, then you might not be as honest. And I think a very important part of journaling is honesty. If you're not honest, if you're writing like someone is going to read it, if you're writing while reducing yourself, then it's not as authentic as when you're being raw. So I encourage you to be raw, and it doesn't have to be full sentences. Sometimes journaling could just be you drawing whatever is in your mind. It could be a line or some things that don't make sense that people even consider art, but just expressing yourself using a pen or pencil or color or paper. You get what I'm saying. But I think when you journal, I would recommend that you do it at the beginning of the day and the end of the day. At the beginning of the day, you are just seeing where your mind is at. What are you thinking about in the morning? What kind of day do you think you're going to have? Are you a bit anxious about the day, or are you excited about the day? And when we're journaling, we're trying to find patterns, right? So that's why when you journal, it's important to reflect on the things you're writing. You can have piles and piles of journals, but if you're not looking at them once in a while, then you might miss out on your own wisdom. For example, for me, in my own journals, when I looked back, I realized that I was underestimating myself, that maybe I was journaling about some things that I experienced that were challenging, but then I went through them. I'm like, oh, wow, I went through this and survived it. That means I'm strong. That means I'm resilient. That means that challenges are actually good, because then I start to see the good that was in that situation. So it's important that even when you're having the hardest days, to still write and to still express yourself, because one day you're going to come and look back and be like, wow, look at me, I survived that. And that will keep you going, I think. So in the morning, I would say maybe you're setting your intention for the day. And as you keep journaling, you're going to realize, every morning I'm a bit anxious. Why is that? Am I scared to go to work? Or maybe is it the traffic that annoys me? You're going to start to recognize patterns. And then in the evening, when you're journaling, you're just sharing your thoughts of the day. What made you happy? What are you grateful for in the day? What surprised you about your day? What good thing stood out for you? What do you want to do more of tomorrow that you did today? And as you do that, you get to see the things that light you up, the things that annoy you, the people that annoy you, the situations that annoy you. In these moments, as you journal, you're going to realize specific environments that pull out a different side of you. And it's up to you what you do with that information. Like you said, you're here to understand yourself, to get to know yourself. So don't judge yourself because you are not in your final form. So if there's something that you don't like, you can change that. If there's anything about your life that you don't like, you can change that. Nothing is stuck. So if you observe that maybe you're not doing enough, maybe you want to do more than what you're doing right now, that's okay. Don't berate yourself that, I'm not good enough. I should be doing more. No, no, no. Just you even realizing is a good thing. It means that you're self-aware. So, yeah, you take that awareness and use it in the next day. That's really it. Another way for mental, like to figure out how you think or your beliefs and perceptions, is meditating. Just sitting down and observing your thoughts, seeing the thoughts that are coming about. Yeah, there's so many ways that you can engage your mental. And another thing I wanted to say is deep breathing. Deep breathing is also very good to get your real thoughts, like sometimes the thoughts that we have are anxious thoughts. But if you take maybe 5 deep breaths and then you see the thoughts that come up, those thoughts might be more authentic to you than the thoughts that you had before you took a deep breath. Every time you're breathing and releasing, you're releasing a certain energy, that tense energy. And then the calm is you. That is the you. But it's also okay if you still feel like you're not fully grounded. I feel like the more you do these things, the more grounded you're going to feel. And by grounded, I mean the more secure in yourself. I've realized that I say a lot in my videos and episodes. So I want to be, I want to say it less. Yeah. I'm just saying, in case you've realized that, I've realized it too. Another way actually to figure out your mental is there's this personality assessment tests that you can take online. There's plenty of them. I highly recommend that you take them. I'm going to link some of them in my description so you can go try them out. Also, I'll link some journal prompts that you can use to understand yourself better if you're trying to. No, I don't need your email. I'll just leave a document that you can download. All right. Another way to get to see your mindset and your mental is through goal setting, like short-term goals and long-term goals. For example, if you have a short-term goal of by November you want to have $5,000, that shows you, first of all, what you're thinking right now. Maybe it shows that you need the money right now. It could show that maybe that was not a good example. Actually, that was not a good example. Not all I know, what is a fact is when you set goals are attached to our values, right? The things that we care about. So like I said, when I was giving that money example, I was going to say you care about money, but sometimes people look at that as a bad thing. So I wanted to give something more neutral. Like, whatever it is, whatever goal that you have, it says something about you. So even not having a goal says something about you. Maybe you're one of those who take things one day at a time. You don't really care about the future. Or maybe you don't know where you're going. So you don't have goals. I do want to say that if you're that person, don't don't be surprised when you feel lost sometimes, because we feel lost a lot of the times because we haven't been clear on where we want to go. So, yeah, get clear on where you want to go. That way you don't ask yourself, how did I get here? That's what happens when you don't have a goal. Sometimes you get to a place and you're like, how exactly did I end up here? Because you didn't play a role. You didn't play your role. You just let the world take you. And the world will always take you. It's just going to take you in a place that you might not like. Or a place that you might like. Who knows? Anyway, the reason as to why I was talking about goals is that when you reach them, it tells you something about yourself. For example, for me, when I set my goals of, coming back to my YouTube this year, and now I'm finally doing it, it tells me that I'm committed to myself. I'm committed to my work. I'm committed. That's what it tells me about me. And it also shows me the progress I've made from, you guys don't even know. Like, I've really been trying to come back to YouTube, but I just felt like I wasn't ready. But just this shows me just how much I care about this. Like, I actually care about this. I enjoy this. So for me, that's what it tells me. Yeah. Anyway, so that's for the mental. Let's get into the emotional. Like I said, I'm going to give you reflection questions that you can journal about in case you want to do even a deeper dive. So let's get into the emotional. How do you process your emotions? How do you react or respond? All of that tells you about yourself. For example, if I came and said, "You're stupid," and you pull out a gun and shoot me, it tells me that, I'll probably be dead. But what I'm saying is that it shows that maybe you have some anger problems, that maybe you are reactive and not responsive. So when you realize these things about yourself, especially if it's something that's not positive, don't put yourself down. Realize that awareness is good. Like, even you being aware is a good thing, because then you get to make a choice for the next time I come and call you stupid. You might choose to respond with silence, or to ignore me, or to defend yourself and be like, "I'm not stupid. Don't speak to me that way." It could go any way, but it shows, like, how we respond or react shows how much growth we still have to do. A good way to find out how you process emotions is meditating, journaling, because when you're journaling, you're writing down how someone made you feel and what you did about it. Maybe you were binge eating, or whatever you do, or maybe you went for a walk, or maybe you exercised while thinking about that thing that they did. Yeah, there's so many the different mindfulness techniques, like deep breathing, journaling, meditating, affirmations, like when someone says something hurtful to you, and you use an affirmation to affirm yourself that, no, I am actually not stupid. I'm actually very smart, you know? Yeah, that's a way to find out how you process your emotions. Another way to find out your emotional system is getting feedback. This one is hard, to be honest. You have to really want to know yourself. You go to your friends and you're like, "Hey guys, what do you think of me? Do you think I'm a good person? Do you think I'm a nice person? What do you think I could improve?" Asking for feedback from people that you trust, your mentors, your friends, your colleagues. That's very important because your colleagues and friends and family and mentors, they see something that you don't see. For example, blind spots. Not for example, but your blind spots. And if you don't think you have blind spots, I'm here to tell you you have them. There's a side of you that you cannot experience. So that's where you seek feedback. I've done that before. I don't know if I sought the feedback, but I was told before when I was younger that mm, I was told before that sometimes I do speak the truth, but it can be hurtful. So for me, what my lesson in that was, it's not that speaking the truth is bad, but I had to find a new way to relay information to people. I mean, it could be two ways. It could be that maybe someone is just naturally sensitive to feedback or criticism. Because if you're dealing with a person like that, they take everything personally. Even when your tone is kind, even when your intention is clear, like even when you've done your part, they might perceive you a different way. So you have to allow for that. But for me, I knew that there was still some work that I had to do in, being more gentle in my delivery, maybe less judgmental. Yeah, so when you're seeking feedback, don't take it personally, especially if you're trying to grow. Realize that whatever people tell you about yourself is just what they perceive about you. And for me, how I know something is true is if I go to five different people and they're saying the same thing about me, it's likely true, especially if these people are not connected. Maybe one is your family member, another is your friend, another is your workmate, another is someone in your community. If different people are pointing out a character about you and there's a pattern there, then that thing is likely true, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. So, you have a choice. You can be defensive and reject what they say. But if you want to grow, which I assume you do, you want to be a better person and know yourself better and be a better person in community, you will take that feedback and work on yourself. Because like I said, there's nothing about you that's static. Like you could change anything that you don't like about yourself. And you can strengthen the things that you already like. So, yeah, I feel like seeking feedback is a hard one, but is such a good one. Like, you get so much information about yourself, and sometimes you get the good things. You're like, every time I come to you, I feel safe, I feel heard. I've been told before by my friends that they feel like I am present with them, which it's like the best compliment for me. When my friends are speaking to me, I try to not be distracted. My phone is away. It's like I'm with them. And sometimes when you're doing things, you really don't think people are seeing it, but they do. But also at the same time, I realize that I'm different in different spaces. Like my friends get a very different version of me than my family, even though those are still the same people. Especially when I was younger, I feel like I was so different with my family. Like I was not myself at all. Maybe I can be a bit unserious, and that plays around in all walks of my life, like my work life, my friends, my family. Like there's a clown within that I I love, but when it comes to maybe the things that bother me, the things that hurt me, not everyone is going to get that side. So sometimes some people have different opinions of you because you're a different person in those situations. I just want to bring a nuanced conversation because it's not black and white over here. I'm talking about all of that to show you that you're not one thing. So, yeah, don't take things personally. That's another one that I want you to get out of it. Anyway, let's go to number three, the physical system. If you're trying to understand your physical system, think of your physical system as your current body, your body, your hands, the things you own, like this mic, your possessions. That's all the physical system. Health, how you eat, how you treat your body. Exercise is a good way to find out who you are, like how strong you are or how weak you are. For me, I realized that, oh, I'm a little bit weak, my upper body. Yeah, through exercise, I found that out. Through what I eat, I found out that I have a low appetite. If I don't remember to eat, I'm going to forget. I love tea, is another thing I realized. I love to drink tea in the morning, in the evening. I'm always sipping on some water. Let me not say always, actually. Dog, everything is pink. This is not my favorite color, but hey, today it looks like it is what it is. Anyway, the physical system is also what you do with your physical body, right? Besides eating and exercise, where do you take your body? Like in nature? What do you feel when you're over in nature? What do you feel when you're playing soccer? What do you feel like when you're swimming? All of these things are going to tell you about yourself. For me, when I'm swimming and floating, I feel like the world is mine, especially when the sun is shining and, you know, it's just there's just something freeing about the water for me. Talking about a swimming pool, you will not find me in an ocean swimming. Not me, Sofia Cabito. Actually, you know what? Let me allow for future me to change. Maybe I'll overcome my fears. But as of now, swimming in large water bodies are not for me. Honestly, even if I'm on a boat, something about me is going to be uneasy. I have to first make sure I've prayed. Best believe, like, the ocean is not a game, dog. How are we even there? Anyway, yeah, social situations actually is another thing that you need to observe. When you're at work, how do you feel? When you're at, your place of worship, if you have a religion, how do you feel? When you're with your family, how do you feel? Like, look at different gatherings and see what they bring out of you. Because I can tell you, you're a different person in those situations. Sometimes at work, you might be a bit anxious, a bit tense, or maybe you're a bit free and you are very courageous at work. And yeah, and then maybe you go to a conference and you're more quiet. For me, I want to bring myself into this. That way you can kind of relate. So for me, I get a bit nervous in in public situations, but my nervousness is when I'm put at this I'm put in, like, someone puts me on the spot. Sometimes I come off as someone who's good at public speaking, but most times my palms are sweating, like I'm sweating. So sometimes I fully shut down, like I'm just in my observing bag. That happens a lot when I'm in large crowds of people, especially when there's big personalities. Like, I get into my people watching because that's a hobby of mine, by the way. I love watching people. There's a park I go to here next to our home. I just watch people. Like, that is all I do. Get out my book, get my folding chair from the car, sit and watch people play with their kids, watch fathers teach their kids how to ride bikes, mothers watching their husbands play soccer, older women, and older men communing. So much goes on at the park that I just enjoy watching. People just laying in the grass, reading books, having picnics and dates and food. I love watching people. Yeah, so I observed that about myself when I was out there. So, what do you notice about yourself when you're out there? Do you tend to go in your shell, or are you very loud? Now, there's a certain group of people where I'm actually loud when I'm with my Ugandan friends. When I'm with my Ugandan friends, because I'm very comfortable with them. Initially, I don't think I was like that, but now with time, very much myself. So, like I said, different crowds bring a different side of you. So, you can only know when you go outside and see. And sometimes you go out, and as you're there, you know you will never be back because you don't like what you're feeling. You're just too uncomfortable. That has happened too. And you're also noticing what your body is telling you, because a lot of the times your body is going to tell you, like, girl, let's get out of here. Let's skedaddle. And then there's times when you don't want to leave. You want to observe those moments. And then when you get back home, you journal, like, oh my God, I just had the best day. I don't know why I'm talking like that. But anyway, yeah, sleep is also a good way to see what's going on in the physical. If you're not sleeping enough, your body's going to tell you, you're going to be fatigued. And if you're not sleeping enough, you have to ask yourself, what is going on? Am I am I stressed? Like when you're overthinking, it's going to show up in your sleep. You be over there sleeping, but in your dreams you find your problems because before you slept you were thinking about everything. So sleep is also important. How you feel when you wake up. Do you feel groggy or do you feel upbeat? Okay, so for the spiritual system is your values, your beliefs, your connection to the world, your connection to yourself, to animals, to plants, and to God. Basically, your connection to the creation and how you find out about yourself, how you get to know about yourself using the spiritual system is asking yourself how you feel about God. How do you feel about different kinds of people who are different from you? If you're racist, I don't know. I don't think I would attract racists on my page. But if you're racist, this would be an invitation for you to check in. What do you believe about other races of people, other colors of people, other religions? And in there, you're going to find out some things about yourself. For example, if you believe that you're better than some people, then that shows you that you are arrogant. That shows that actually you might not call yourself that. You might say something else. But I'm saying it's going to show you who you are. And if you're okay with that, then you can maintain. But if it's something you'd like to change, then, there's other questions that you can ask of who taught me that? Is that really true about them? What is an alternative way of thinking that's more positive, that empowers both me and them? I feel like if this system is not properly worked on, it affects all parts of our lives: the physical world, the emotional world, and the mental world. This spiritual system is so important. And if you want to connect to it, go into some nature. Look at some trees, the different trees. When you're looking at different flowers and different flowers, let's give that example, or different fruits. Do you have this thing of this one is better than this one looks better than this one, or do you appreciate all of their beauty, the differences? Do you do that? Because in there, you're going to learn about yourself. and you'll realize that you have a preference for some flowers. I don't know. Was that a good example? I don't know. But I'm just saying that nature tells us a lot about ourselves, animals, how you treat animals. Now, if you treat animals better than you treat people, that's very concerning. Even though I know sometimes it's encouraged, like treat dogs well, treat cats well, but you need to treat humans even much better than you treat animals. So the spiritual system, understanding it is really going to ground you. You know, you're going to feel connected to everyone rather than isolated, rather than because sometimes we feel alone because we haven't taken the time to understand other people. Because when you start to understand other people and their stories, then you realize that we are actually all the same, just battling different things. Maybe we look a little different, but we're very much the same. Yeah. And in that, you realize that we're actually very connected. The next time you meet someone, instead of saying, whoa, you look very different, you're going to be like, wow, you look very different from what I'm used to. And that will encourage curiosity rather than judgment. I don't know, was that helpful? Please let me know if my breakdown was helpful. Again, I'm going to give you reflection questions in the comments in the description. It's going to be a document that you can go and fill out, or you can journal. If you don't want to type out, you can just read the questions and write down in your notebook. But yes, look out for those reflection questions in the description. Please let me know other ways that you can get to know yourself besides the ways that I discussed in today's video. Please comment below. Yeah, and let me know what else you want to see. Actually, this is also for my podcast, so I need to remember to be very intentional with my messaging. So please leave me a comment and share this with anyone that you think it will benefit. You know, because if you get to know yourself, it's going to, the more you get to know yourself, the more authentic you show up. You leave all these other things people have told you about yourself. So, yeah, if you want other people to show up authentically, share this video with them. Up until then, stay connected. Have a good evening, a good night, a good afternoon, a good morning, a good day, a good week, a good everything. See you next time.